Okay, so I'm going to start with something that might hit you a little weird. What if the retirement plan you're actually working on right now doesn't survive the next 10 years? And before you think I'm doom and gloom, hear me out. It's not because you messed up, not because you didn't save enough. It's just that the world changes faster than the plans do. Guessing some of you are already thinking, I see where you're going with this. Just think back to 2008. People's entire careers just disappeared like overnight. Then COVID happened and suddenly all those safe jobs, they were about as safe as a house of cards. And now we've got AI doing stuff that honestly we're all still figuring out. It's not like something that's coming later. It's happening right now. But here's the thing. Most of the retirement advice you hear, it still talks about the same old story. Steady job, steady paycheck, steady markets. Like that's how the world works anymore. There's this gap between what people are telling you to do and what's actually happening out there. And that gap, that very gap, is where all the anxiety lives. That's why you can be doing everything right and still be up at 2 a.m. worried about whether any of it actually matters. So today, I want to talk about something that honestly doesn't get mentioned nearly enough. It's probably already helping successful people without them even realizing it. It's called freedom salary. And yeah, I know that sounds like one of those trendy finance things. You're right to be skeptical. Honestly, skepticism is like a superpower now. But stick with me until the end. Promise, this one is different. Quick thing, as we do more of these videos, I'm going to start putting links to relevant resources, tools, and calculators in the description. Just actual stuff that helps you think more clearly about your money and income. Use them if they help. Now let's talk about who you are and why you're here. You're probably like me and a lot of others who did everything by the book and still feel like something's off. People who don't actually want to retire at 40 and never work again. People who just want their life to feel less stressful before they're old. If that's you, then this whole thing is basically for you. Let me ask you something. What if we flipped, yes, flipped, how we even think about retirement? You see, most retirement advice says how much money do you need so you literally never have to work again. But what if the question was something totally different? How much money would actually take the pressure off my life right now? That's it. And that one little shift, that little shift in mindset changes everything. Because here is what I know. Most of the bad financial decisions people make, they're not made because people are greedy or stupid. They're made because of pressure. Pressure makes you panic sell. Pressure makes you jump from one strategy to another every 6 months. Pressure creates regret. Okay, I should tell you a bit about where I'm coming from with this because it's real. 20-some years ago, I jumped into the whole FIRE thing. Save aggressively, invest aggressively, and retire early. It looked perfect on a spreadsheet. Then life actually happened. 2008 came along and watched people's houses become worthless overnight.
Then COVID showed up, and suddenly everyone's safe job wasn't so safe anymore.
Now we're dealing with AI reshaping the entire job market while we're all still trying to figure out what that means. And here's the thing. My spreadsheet still worked through all of that. The numbers still checked out. But emotionally, the stress was absolutely real. That's when something just clicked for me. Most of the financial stress people actually feel, it's not about their net worth. It's not about whether they're on track to some number. It's about whether their income feels stable, whether it could disappear tomorrow. Knowing you're on track to reach some retirement number in 20 years doesn't really help much if your paycheck feels fragile right now. That's what freedom salary actually fixes. So let me just say what it is straight up. Freedom salary is the minimum amount of reliable income that covers your actual bills, gives you back some time and sanity. It doesn't say you quit your job tomorrow. It doesn't promise passive income by next month. It doesn't require you to never work again. It's just stability, right now, not in some distant future. And I can almost feel people's shoulders drop when I say that because it's actually reasonable. It's actually possible. It's not asking you to make some crazy leap.
It means the work you do becomes something you choose. How you do it becomes your choice. How much of it you take on becomes your choice, instead of all of that being decided for you by some market number or some deadline. So this isn't retirement, and it's not the hustle all the time thing either. It's just taking the pressure off. Now, why does this matter right now, more than it ever did before? The old model was like you get hired at 22, stay at one or two companies your whole life, you get a pension, and retire at 65, and done. Simple. Now, the world we're actually living in, it looks completely different. Contract work, gigs, multiple income streams, automation risk, people changing jobs constantly, rules about retirement accounts changing every year. It's pretty chaotic compared to what the traditional advice assumes. If your entire plan depends on one employer, one stock market number, one super specific timeline, that's not really a plan. That's a bet. You're hoping everything goes exactly one way. Freedom salary is actually about de-risking your life, because the real danger isn't working a few more years. The real danger is having zero flexibility when something inevitably changes, and something will always change. And one more thing that's important to get clear. Freedom salary is not anti-FIRE. Just think of it this way. Optimally, FIRE is where you're trying to go. That's your destination. Freedom salary is the shock absorber that makes getting there way less stressful. Freedom salary makes it easier to actually stay invested when the market tanks, instead of panic selling. It makes it way easier to adapt when your job situation changes. And it means you can make thoughtful decisions instead of just reacting to whatever's happening right now. Some people start with freedom salary and then go for FIRE later. Some hit FIRE first and then use freedom salary to stay flexible. Also, a lot of people just do both without even realizing that's what they're doing. There's no one right path here. And actually, we should probably say this out loud. There is no such thing as a retirement strategy that works for literally everyone. Life stages are different, personalities are different. Some people need way more certainty than others. Some people have kids or aging parents. Some are risk takers, and some aren't. It's just not one size fits all, and that's okay. Freedom salary gives you flexibility. FIRE gives you long-term structure. Together, they actually create what most people actually want. Not necessarily early retirement, but just confidence. Like, okay, I can breathe. I have options. So to recap what we've talked about, freedom salary reduces the pressure you feel right now, and also it actually helps you make better long-term investment decisions. And it's not in competition with FIRE. It works with it. Now, in the upcoming videos, we're going to get into the practical stuff. How to actually figure out what your freedom salary is, what kinds of jobs or roles naturally support it, which gigs sound flexible but actually just create more stress, how AI is actually changing income stability, not in theory but like right now, and also what's changing with retirement rules that nobody's really talking about. I know it's a lot to think about, but in the end, we all want options. We want room to breathe. You want to be able to say no to something without panic, because that's not lazy. That's actually the most reasonable thing in the world. So here's what freedom salary really gives you. It doesn't promise you'll escape work. It doesn't promise you'll retire at 40. But what it does promise is stability in a world that's getting less stable. And honestly, I think this might be the most underrated financial goal there is. So in the upcoming videos, we'll break down new options and possibilities so you can feel confident in navigating this shift in retirement planning. Also, you'll find helpful resources linked in the description. Hope this made you think about money differently. Now like and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching.